Did you imagine that the entire country could actually be locked down the way you would lock down your house? Forget the country, the entire world is in lockdown. So we are actually in unimaginable times. Did you ever imagine that we would actually have to watch the rerun of Ramayana? And to think of it, we're sitting and watching it with more interest than ever. Unimaginable. So that is what the time that we are living in now is all about. It's about staying indoors. It's about spending as much time indoors, locked down as possible to keep ourselves safe. And can you believe that this time around, when you're watching Ramayana, it's not Ram, it's not Lakshman, nor is it Hanuman who's our inspiration. It's Kumbhakarna. Especially when you wake up every morning and you think, यार मैं सो के थक गया हूँ, इतना थक गया हूँ कि थकान के मारे सोच रहा हूँ थोड़ा और सो जाऊँ. So who else can be more of an inspiration than Kumbhakarna for us now? So I was just thinking about that, and I happened to think about those days when I was much younger and aspired to be a doctor, and few things were not imagined. So these are small stories about that. The first one is about the day I joined residencies. I spoke to a few of my friends and they were talking about all the hardships that you have to endure when you're doing your housemanship, but they also spoke about one very important thing, how sleep becomes a luxury. So my friend recollected his own story about how he managed to get just 70 hours of sleep in some 15 days. So that's somewhere around 4.5 hours a day. So I knew what I was sort of getting into, but then sleep, to imagine not sleeping or just sleeping for 4 hours and not sleeping for the required amount of hours is one thing, and to be actually doing that is a totally different ball game. You can think about, okay, not sleeping for 48 hours, but to not sleep for 48 hours is very different from just thinking about it. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll manage it. And then I jumped into residency. At the same time, I was keeping a tab on how many hours I was getting to sleep. So 15 days were over and I had counted the number of hours that I got to sleep. It was no more than 42 hours. So I managed to get something like 2.5 or just a little bit more of that. And trust me, I managed well with that. I managed to do all my work well. It was not about just sleeping and not doing, and we were working through the rest of the 20 odd hours. So that was one unimaginable thing for me at that point of time. So I'm happy about that one thing. Now another tale, which again talks about a residency. It was the first day that I entered the operation theatre. So when you enter the operation theatre, the interesting thing is you have a small little changing room. So everybody who's been there knows that. So you change from your regular clothes and get into your OT scrubs. And then you move into your OT, do your work, and then come back. Again remove the OT scrubs, dump it over there, change into your normal clothes and get out. So the first day I entered, it's a small little room. It's much smaller than a bathroom. It's just enough to fit in one person. So I entered and I saw somebody lying over there over a pile of used or worn OT scrubs. I found it at that point of time actually disgusting. And how can you sleep on this pile of clothes which has been used by other people, which has the unmentionables, it has blood, it has sweat, it's got everything, and you're sleeping on it. I felt disgusted. So I changed, went into the OT, did my work. But trust me, in 1 week, I realized that place was the most wished upon place to be. Everybody wanted to go and be there because that's one place where you actually had a cushiony bed and you could sleep over there peacefully for a few hours in between cases. Very funny, but the disgust moved out and it gave way to comfort over there. Same thing which was disgusting at some point had become comfortable for me in no time. So there were so many such instances in my life which I thought was unimaginable or things which I never imagined. But then finally you manage to surmount that. Finally you manage to overcome that. And I'm very sure that all of us, the way we have been behaving through this lockdown, the way we've been disciplined through this lockdown, the way we've been patient through this lockdown, we would be eventually able to surmount this big threat that we as a race are facing. So, good luck. Keep believing in the impossible. You're there to make it possible.